Hello, welcome to Texas Lone Wolf, your source for red pill truth. Today we are going to talk about friends who's always got your back are very rare. If you got one, keep them. Right? Now, this first half of the show, we're going to do some little parts in the series. I'm going to do a big old giant video here. I'm going to do a big video. So, if you're going to work every day and you want to, there's ways to download videos off YouTube using a browser like a SlimJet. I endorse SlimJet because SlimJet's an easy to use Chromium-based browser. You can sign in, save your passwords. You can download videos, take them on the go, and put them in your phone. Listen to them when you need somebody to talk to you. You can always download my videos off YouTube just to listen to me talk to you. And remember, I don't want to manipulate or control or influence you. I just want to tell you what is happening out there. You make up your mind. You decide what course of action to take. You want to continue following the sheeple, going to the path of destruction? That's you. You want to say, hey, Texas Lone Wolf, thank you for waking me up. I don't want to be a woke sheeple. I want to be an awakened spiritual person who sees right in what is in front of him. Let me tell you this. We live in a world, and let me tell you, this world is so complex, it's evolved since the generations before us at one point in time. Life was different in the 1800s to the 1900s. It was similar. It kind of changed. Then came the Industrial Revolution. The factories, coal plant, coal mining jobs, all of that. Hard manual labor. People went to work every day, drank coffee, went to work, put in their time, clocked out, went home, took care of their family, took care of business. Life went on. Fast forward, then we had some series of conflicts. We had series of changes that were drastic, barely noticeable. As one generation passes, the other one takes over, and so on. If you know what I mean. So, the world has evolved since before our time. It's always been the world from the get-go when civilization started. Do you follow me? So let's take note. I'm going to go ahead and take a little break here, and I'm going to get back to this, okay? Let me do some fixing up on this video here. And I'm going to put my video face up here talking to you. And we'll make sure you can see me. And I will be referred to as Texas Lone Wolf. I am a loner. And I'd rather walk my own path instead of following the crowd in the wrong direction. So, am I making any sense to you? So, let's go ahead and take a little break here, okay? Be right back. So, just want to cover this up and go ahead and get started on the recording, all right? Remember, in this picture right here, a wise man can be found alone. A wise man can be found alone. I also can go to the woman as well. And when a woman is alone and she's wise, she's known as a Sigma female. When a man is found alone, he's known as the Sigma male. He marches to the beat of his own drum. He's got very abstract mindset, per se. So, men like the Sigmas are harder to manipulate because we can see through the BS. 2, we have an abstract mind. 3, we can see through manipulation techniques and stuff like that in this real life world. Let's take a little break. Alrighty, now I'm back. So I've already got the articles pulled up, and we're going to get into some very, very controversial topics. So, a lot of females crave attention. A lot of females do. It can be due to the shattered self-esteem, self-motivation, self-confidence. If you're constantly striving to seek your ego to be stroked, you're in for a bad treat of the worst things yet to come. Sigma females validate themselves. And there are other kind of women, they seek validation. They seek other people's approval. They'll ask, oh, am I pretty? Am I this? Am I that? Come on. Really? Really? So, yeah. I want to cover this topic because a lot of times, all right, when you seek attention and seek validation, you seek to get your ego stroked. You're in for a treat, okay? Not the one that you want. It'll be short term. Temporary happiness comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. Okay? Permanent happiness comes and stays. It comes and stays with you. So which one is it? Which one do you want? And yes, there are sometimes this happens a lot more than what people think nowadays. But take note before you downvote this video, before you put your, click on that thumb down, think on this very hard and think on it. Just think on this. Think with your head right here. Think on it. Okay? Before you hit that downvote button, go in the mirror, go in the bathroom or in the bedroom, look at yourself in the mirror. If you don't like what you see, make the needed changes. It's very important. You are in charge of your own destiny. You are in charge of this. Not the church, not the community events that you like going to. You want to shine out, be a life of the party, whatever. Let me tell you, being an extrovert, you attract all kinds of trouble. How come majority of the extroverts go to jail? Very rarely you see introverts go to jail. Very rarely. Take a look at the personality. It's very important. It's very important. Okay, let's go ahead and just dig into this. From Jess Dumont. I don't know who Jesse Dumont is. That could be a female or a male name, depending on who wrote this. But this looks like a male that wrote this piece. Girls get attention a lot more because they born rich and die poor. Yeah, that's true. They're born rich and die poor. I tell you what this means. They're given everything up front when they're young and beautiful, hot. They're young. When they're young, fresh out of the oven, hot, beautiful, attractive. When they start aging through partying, excessive partying, drinking, joining fraternities, doing stupid stuff at colleges, going getting re-educated by the leftist professors and what have not. All in the name of furthering your education. Excuse me. Them college degrees ain't nothing but a worthless piece of paper. Well, I'm going to college. How many degrees do you got? Excuse me. Woo! Oh, I got me a degree from Walmart. Oh, yeah. I'm the smartest human being. Looky here. I got me a degree at Walmart. Look at that. Woohoo! Now, I get to make $80,000 a year. Whoopie-doo. Really? Really? I know this is a receipt. I'm using this as an example. Okay? I'm using this white piece of paper as an example. Tell me, why in the world would somebody want to borrow a huge lump sum of money from a cathedral we call four-letter B word, bank? You know what they are doing? Do you know what the banks are doing? The banks are milking the young student like fresh cash cows they are. Male, female, whatever pronoun you use, whatever. You could be a trans cow for all I damn care. Or you could be a trans skunk, look like a freaking cat in a cage. You could be Queen Cleopatra from the Nile, sitting on a throne like a young hoochie mama off the ghetto street. I don't care. To the banks, you are a fresh cash cow. You know what they're doing? They're betting on you to work your ass off making those payments so they can sit there. Oh, we're smoking a cigar. Here, let me go find me something that imitates a cigar. This is a pen. Got me a nice little sucker. That's guaranteed income. Oh, we dumbing down some young adults. Really? Really? So you see young kids that just graduated high school, they go to college. To get that worthless piece of fucking paper, excuse my language, worthless paper. Alright? Guess what? The majority of these jobs hired don't even require these said degrees. Do you want to know where the money's at? Do you want to know where the money's at? It's in the trade schools. But you know what? I applaud men and women who are waking up out of the slumber to smelling the rotten fish in the fresh bowl or aquarium. Okay? Take my words seriously. They are smelling the coffee. In fact, I'm drinking coffee right now. They're smelling the coffee. And you're drinking the coffee. Woo! What the heck is going on? Really? And then, get this. Get this. While the college professors, the colleges are sitting here, oh, stupid student one, bet. Stupid student two, bet. Oh yeah, cash cow, cash cow, cash cow. Really? Really? Where are we going with this? Oh, I want to be a teacher when I grow up. I want to get this worthless piece of paper called degree. Teacher gets into the school, you start off at roughly $30,000 a year. But this degree, I'm promising you 200,000. And you borrowed a huge lump sum of money from a bank. In the labor market, it is very intense. The labor market's intense. Then you get desperate when the money pit dries up from your parents' bank accounts. On a retirement plan, when that money dries up, parents can't give out no more money. Guess what? This notoriously said that somebody made a comment when I was going to school at one time. When I was, I recall I was about what? Let me see, 14 years old, 15. I heard a comment say this. Somebody said, "Man, stop, man! You're gonna wreck this. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when you wreck it?" Oh, I ain't gonna worry about it. Mom and Daddy work for Alcoa. They'll buy me a new vehicle. I ain't worried about it. All I gotta do is wrap my parents around my pinky finger and make them manipulate them. We live in that kind of world today. Yes. Entitlement of the snobs, what I call it. Oh, I'm going to college. I'm going to Blinn. I'm going to Harvard. I'm going to Yale. Excuse me. What about the trade? Oh, I ain't doing that trade. Oh, that's not for me. I want this worthless piece of paper. I want that degree. I'm going to go get that degree. Guess what? You get that little degree and you show it off to that potential employer, and the employer looks at it because he picks it up. Listen, I'm sorry to tell you this, but the position's been filled. All I'm looking for is somebody to work in general labor. Would you be interested in being in the general labor? Oh no, I'm too good for that. I just went to this college for a useless degree. Well, when something comes up, and I'll give you a call. They will never give you a call. They will not call you. They'll quietly take your application, put it down. They're going to forget about you. You see? So, a lot of females in the younger age bracket, I want to say from 18 years of age, usually fresh out of high school and walk into college. They're beautiful. They're glowing, shiny, feminine. They got a glow about them that everybody wants to go out and date with them. And they get the nice little pickings, so to speak. They get the pickings. A lot of, not all the time. Okay? Not all the time. These girls are usually naive and don't know better. Until they lay down with a worthless guy and make a baby with him. And that's when the true colors of the worthless guy comes out. Did you know that? Usually not all the time. The biggest part of the time this happens. And this is the stages of the female that she goes through. The naive stage, when she's out of high school, she's naive. She cares more about her man. He's young and dumb and full of you know what. Just all kind of careless things. Puts children on a three-wheeler, does wheelies and drive recklessly and getting everybody screaming at him. All of that. Then he takes a little cigarette lighter, burns his child with a cigarette lighter, and traumatizes the child when he's very young. Let me tell you something, babies, when you traumatize them very young, they grow up, they never forget that. That's etched into their memory forever. So, back to this, women craving more attention than men. This happens whenever they're very young and naive. They tell everybody they're smarter than everybody, but they don't want to do it. They don't want to go out and try. Usually they want everything handed to them. And there's come a point in time when it's time for you to stand up and do for yourself. They're just doing it for attention. So yes, women do lie for attention. Sometimes women do lie because there's a stage that they're going through in life. It is what it is in today's society. So let's go to the next sign. We're going to talk about the next topic here in the same video, all right? We're going to talk about a situationship versus a relationship. Now, a situationship, I tell you what, a situationship, it's a survival of the fittest tactic. Often used by men and women. Sometimes sparks do fly in a relationship or a situationship. Then comes expectations. Then comes the codependency on one person on another person. Lack of space, influence, or manipulation and controlling of others. Yeah, we're going to discuss this. So, situationship versus relationship. Okay, situationship is where people are in survival mode. They really don't love the person, but they want to be involved with that person in the name of a relationship with strings attached. And that happens quite often. There's no intimacy. It's just, you're there, so to speak. You're there, so to speak, okay? Now, I'm gonna be right back. I need you to go take me a little break, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, just situationship versus relationship. Okay, relationship is where two people agree to come together, become one, or get to know each other and do things together and so forth. Okay, so I want to cover this topic here for a moment. Okay, some people are scared to be alone. So guess what? They go find that person that same as them, their own reflection in the mirror. They fail to even see it. Excuse me. No, it's just. Anyways, now, let's cover this topic: situationship. Okay. Experts. Weena Collins, LCMFT licensed counselor, marriage, family therapist, relationship expert in D.C. metropolitan area. Samantha Burns, licensed marriage. I don't know what HC stands for, but anyway, author of Breakup and Bouncing Back. Listen, society, it takes a village to raise a child, right? Society actually raises society, so to speak. Situation often gets a bad reputation. In many cases, one person wants something different from the other, which creates confusion and hurt feelings. Situationship is necessarily unhealthy, according to this expert here. These type of low commitment relationship can offer lots of fun and flexibility as well as both partners agree on the top of the relationship. Okay? What is a situationship? All right, we're going to talk about a situationship. Okay? In short, a situationship is a type of relationship generally lacks labels, and therefore oftentimes monogamous commitment. A situationship is a relationship that doesn't follow the rules that are typically associated with a traditional romantic relationship, in quote, explains Weena Collins, all right, the licensed therapist in D.C. Oftentimes, the status of two people in a situationship is not well defined. One wants this, the other wants this. It's like a body with two separate mindsets, two separate heads, and two separate personalities. They're going to clash. Remember, I said that. They're going to clash. So, oftentimes, two people in a situation not defined due to complex circumstances or poor communication. These arrangements can be short-term or temporary while both partners determine what they want. And other times, they can last up to months or even years. And quote, the unhealthy side of the situationship becomes apparent when one or each partner wants something different out of the other relationship. Let me show you this. You take a conservative person who wants to save money, better himself. You got a liberal on the other side who made a comment, you can't take it with you when you go. You see? You see? Are you seeing where I'm going at with this? And quote. The liberal wants to spin, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. But when rubber meets the road, there's no backup plan, then chaos ensues. A conservative who saves money, plans ahead, looks ahead, prepares for the worst, is often the one who can withstand the storms of life. And listen, you can't be middle of the road, little liberal, little conservative, little liberal, little. You're either one or the other. All right? You're one or the other. Now, sometimes one person is hopefully able to turn into something more serious, while the other has no intention of creating a long-term relationship. This could lead to hurt feelings, explains Samantha Burns, the couple's therapist, an author breaking up, bouncing back. If both partners are on the same page, it can be a fun experience. Usually they're not. While you enjoy spending time with someone is exploring yourself sexually without obligation or commitment in a relationship. The experience can help you gain clarity on what you're looking for in a partner in a relationship dynamic. It can, what she's saying is, it can morph into something more genuine and serious. Men and women often lie to one another, either just teasing or trying to stir someone up. But if you lie just to stir someone up and then turn around and you tell that person they need counseling for their anger, take a good look in the mirror and make the needed changes. Huh? Take a good look at that. So, signs you're in a situationship, okay? Like our relationship, situations tend to look a little different from the next. There are a few telltale signs to look out for according to experts. Quote, experts. These are people who took courses and studied the human psychology, okay? We, the humans, are in an animal kingdom. We can actually bounce around from human to human if we wanted to. We all had diverse personality, diverse mentality, diverse this, diverse that. The relationship is hard to define. At least you're having trouble defining the relationship, having the what are we discussion, another sign. Ooh, wow. Explaining the relationship feels difficult. Okay, this here is talking about when one partner constantly lying and trying to turn people against. That's common. They tend to lie on the other person. Be careful. To the women out there that are lying to turn family members against family members based on lies, be careful. What darkness will be shown in the light. Be careful. Did you know that's part of gaslighting? When you lie to someone, just turn them against their family. To have them all to yourself, really. So if you're in a relationship with someone who is intuitive, they will pick up on this and they will look at you straight face with second thought and ask you directly, please be upfront and be truthful. Okay? Very important. Be upfront and be truthful. Remember, you tell a lie, gotta tell another lie to cover up that lie, gotta tell another lie, gotta cover up that lie. So on, 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 so on. Before you know it, all the lies you told all collapses. There's no truth. Then everything you say is going to come into question. Most women lie for attention. They get a thrill out of lying to gain attention. Hey, it is what it is. And that person is a sociopath that lies a lot. They play that poor old me card. And you know what happens in that process? You know what happens in that process, right? You're going to get exposed. lying is never going to get you far in life. Sooner or later, you're going to get exposed. What would you do if you keep lying to your partner and he connects the dots? You ever heard that word? Connect a dot and an image will appear on paper, which is truth. It actually goes according to the drawing on a piece of paper. You take a pencil and pen, you connect the dots, an image appears. You connect the dots in your mind. If you lie to get attention, stop it right now. Because you're going to get caught. And when you get caught, everything you say is going to come to be questionable. Are you really telling the truth? And if you actually go to an assembly called church to worship God, and then turn around and you go lie to your partner to get them turned against their own family, do you know what? You are serving the adversary by doing that. The sower of destruction, the sower of chaos, the sower of discord among brethren. Be careful, because what is done in the dark will come to light. Yeah, you can go get in a relationship with a man that you love so much, willing to lie to pit him against his own family. But let me tell you something. Your evil deeds will be exposed. And if you're going to church every Sunday, hypocrites go to church every Sunday thinking that they're clean, but they go back to their partner and lie. Tell stories. Sooner or later, you're going to get caught. It's going to slip up. I said so. You don't talk about the future. There's no labels. We want to use keeping the options open. Oops. 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 Don't get caught in a lie, please. Always be truthful. You have nothing to worry about. Okay? There's no structure. The pros of the situationship gives you time to figure out what you won't be with the other person. Experience a different type of relationship that you're used to. You may learn about your own wants and needs before committing to another person. Con, you may not crave the emotional support you crave. You may not receive it. In a situation, one person is more invested than the other. Ooh, the relationship feels limited. That's the cons. Right here. I'm gonna put this here in the description. But remember, being truthful, being transparent is very important. Very, very important to longevity. Okay? Alright, so what is the situationship? Alright? They're dating, but there's no commitment. That's a situationship. Or friends with benefits, or casual, no strings attached style. Now, we're going to go ahead and skip to the next one here and talk about dark psychology of manipulation. Now, we talked about telling your partner lies to turn people against another. When the other partner is not looking. So I'm glad we're going to talk about the science of psychological and emotional manipulation. How to spot a manipulator. Manipulator lies. They tell lies. Most common manipulators are women. Some can be men as well. Most of the time it's mostly women that could be manipulators. Could be a parent, could be a sibling, could be a cousin, could be a so-called bestie, best friend. They're everywhere. They influence or control you, then you're being manipulated. Just remember, so many people, they run to churches to worship God and turn around and become master manipulators. Just remember, a snake sheds its skin and becomes a bigger snake. Are you that snake? Is your heart cold as stone? Key points here in this topic of psychology today. Manipulative people may let other persons speak first and ask questions in order to assess the weakness. Are you that person? Then you're a manipulator. Other signs of manipulation includes overwhelming someone with facts and procedures, raising one's voice to get what they want, or playing dumb. Oh yeah. Sometimes people who display signs of being manipulated aren't doing it intentionally. Instead, they're simply having bad habits. It can happen in family members. It can happen in households. It can happen in reunions. It can happen in family gatherings. It can happen in social events such as so-called cults or temples or get-togethers like churches and stuff like that. You didn't know that, did you? Remember, manipulators have an agenda. Whatever that agenda could be a sign of controlling, influencing another person. Like, do you remember that Cold War? That Red Scare? Communist forces coming into a free country and banging on your door, taking you to a room and breaking you down verbally, psychologically, emotionally. They break you down to where you are at the breaking point, and they give you an ideology to think with and sympathize and comfort you. Then you become someone you were a former shell of yourself. Really? The brainwash talks to the brainwashee like that. That happened during the Korean War. That happened during the Vietnam War. That happened during the conflict of Soviet Union versus the United States back in the Cold War era. Yeah. Thought pervasion. Pervasive thoughts. Thought reform. Mental conditioning. Propaganda. That's manipulation right there. That's brainwashing. That's influencing another person through thought or control mechanism. Every man and woman is born to be a free soul unto themselves, to think for themselves and do for themselves, not be puppets to the puppet masters. So I am going to cover some. I'm going to go ahead and cover some topics over here in this. Home court advantage. Home court advantage. Home court advantage. Right here. Manipulative individual may insist on meeting, interacting in a physical space where he or she can exercise more dominance and control. This can be a manipulator's office, home, car, other places where he feels ownership, familiarity, where you lack them. Does that sound familiar? Let you speak first to establish your baseline and look for weaknesses. That's 2. Many salespeople do this when they prospect you by asking general probing questions. They establish a baseline about your thinking and behavior from which they can evaluate your strengths and weaknesses. Sound familiar? This type of questions with hidden agenda can occur at the workplace or personal relationships. Number 3, manipulation of facts. Manipulation of facts. Examples: lying, excuse making, being two-faced, blaming the victim for causing their own victimization, deformation of truth, strange strategic disclosure with withholding key information, exaggeration, understatement, and one-sided bias of issue. Wow. Does that sound like what you're engaging? Maybe it's time for you to question the other person and make up boundaries for yourself to protect yourself. Are you being questioned? Are you being lied on? Maybe it's time for 2 people to meet and get it out in the open. Overwhelm you with facts and statistics. Some individuals enjoy intellectual bullying, presuming to be the expert and most knowledgeable in certain areas. They take advantage of you by imposing alleged facts, statistics, and other data you may know little about. This happens in sales and financial situations, in professional discussions and negotiations, as well as social relationship arguments, by presumpting exert expert power over you. Manipulator hopes to push through his or her agenda more convincingly. People use the technique for no other reason other than to feel a sense of intellectual superiority. Certainly does not mean the facts and evidence are not important. On the contrary, the point is that there's significant difference between presenting objective facts for the purpose of problem solving versus utilizing biased or even covert information for purpose of manipulation. Don't that sound familiar? Overwhelming with procedure and red tape. Certain people use bureaucracy, paperwork, procedures, laws, and bylaws, communities, other roadblocks to maintain their position and power, while making their life more difficult. This technique can also be used to delay the fact-finding and truth-seeking, hide flaws, weakness, evade scrutiny. Number 6, raising their voice and displays negative emotions. Boy, that coffee is good going down. Okay, number 6, raising their voice and display negative emotions. Some individuals raise their voice discussion form of aggression and manipulation. The assumption that may they project their voice loudly enough display negative emotions. You submit to their coercion or give them what they want. The aggressive voice is frequently combined with strong body language such as standard excited gesture, increased impact. That's a form of manipulation right there, my friends. And number 7, negative surprise. Some people use negative surprise to put you off balance to gain a psychological advantage. This ranges from low-balling negotiation situation, sudden profession that she will not be able to come through and deliver in some way. Typically, unexpected negative information comes without warning. You have little time to prepare to counter their move. Manipulator may ask additional concessions from you in order to continue working with you. Sound familiar? Number 8, giving you little or no time to decide. Common sales and negotiate tactic, where the manipulator puts pressure on till you make a decision before you're ready. They applying the tension and control unto you, hoping you will crack and give in to the aggressor's demand. Negative humor designed to poke at your weakness and disempower you. Some manipulators like to make critical remarks, often disguised as humor or sarcasm, make you seem inferior or less secure. I didn't know that as manipulation. Example can include a variety of comments range from your appearance of your older model smartphone to background and credentials. In fact, you walking in 2 minutes late, out of breath, by making you look bad and getting you to feel bad. Aggressor hopes to impose psychological superiority over you. Woo! I'm learning something new every day on this. Consistently judge and criticize you to make you feel inadequate. Does that sound familiar? Wow. Distinct for previous behavior, negative humor based use as a cover, where the manipulator outright picks on you. Marginalized, ridiculed, dismissing you. Keeps you off balance and maintain his or her superiority. The aggressor deliberately fosters the impression that is something wrong with you. No matter how hard you try, you're inadequate. You will never be good enough. Significantly, the manipulator focuses on negative without providing genuine and constructive solution meaningful to help. Really? This one here is a silent treatment. Deliberately not responding to reasonable calls, text messages, other emails, inquiry. Manipulator presume power by making you wait. Making you wait. And pretend ignorance, guilt baiting, victimhood. I'm going to put the links down here so you can read up on it. Preston here, he talked about it, and this was published the 15th of October 2015. Now this here is you're being influenced or manipulated. This is going to wake a lot of people up right here. We already talked about who the manipulator is. Now we're going to talk about who's being the one that's being manipulated. Okay? Are you influenced or manipulated? This often happens in workplaces. This often happens in workplaces, okay? Now, we're going to talk about the ones being manipulated right here, okay? All right, are you ready? So this happens oftentimes in the workplaces, okay? You join a new organization at the brainstorm meeting with a few senior colleagues. So you receive an email from the boss. And a conversation begins. Consider the scenario. You recently got hired, joined a new organization, or what the situation might be. The boss says, I'm disappointed in you. You shared some good ideas in the meeting this morning, but you did not check it in with me beforehand. I don't appreciate not being in the know. Your predecessor was great at stakeholder meeting and management. He's always made a point of checking in with me before sharing his ideas so we could refine them. You made me look bad in front of the entire team. I'm just super surprised by your proposals that they were. See, you're different. You stand out. Sometimes somebody over you feels threatened by your presence. So, and then, after the boss sends that email, you respond. So I understand. I share my thoughts because it was a brainstorming meeting. And I thought the purpose was for everyone to come up with and share new ideas. I thought it was my responsibility to speak up and help solve urgent problem we were discussing. In other words, if you're solution driven, the boss doesn't really like your solution driven idea. He wants you to be beaten down dog to obey his command to get a treat from him. Sorry. Everybody's diverse, okay? You sound like that boss is on a power trip right there. He's a manipulator and the brand new employee is being manipulated. He's setting himself up being manipulated. All right. You are very new. The boss says you are very new. You don't understand your colleague's motive yet. People can be very sensitive about their territories. Like talking about himself. And your actions may have caused some serious damage. But just believe me when I say it's not right for you to share ideas without first checking it with me. I'm trying to protect you here. No, he's not. He's trying to protect his ass. He's trying to cover his ass so you be the one that's the fall guy. Trust me on that. Just believe me when I say it's not right for you to share ideas without first checking. I'm trying to protect you here. I know you want to grow in this organization. I recommend you trust and listen to me. Really. So you want to be a puppet on a string with the boss man dictating orders, right? So, all right. So what do you think is happening here? The boss is manipulating the young employee to be a little puppet master, on a string. Everybody's diverse. Everybody's different. Remember that. Do you believe the boss being a good mentor, exerting their influence through critical feedback? No, then you're wrong. This is actually an example of manipulation. As a psychologist, a professor who specializes in negotiation and leadership, part of my job is teaching others how to master the art of influence. He's manipulating other people in a good way right there. Persuade people essential to grow in a career is needed to successfully negotiate, gain support of stakeholders in company, leaders, manager. Encourage your team to enact with change you want to see and create value. At the same time, line separating influence and manipulation is thin, very thin. There's a very thin line on that. In fact, several occasions my students posted whether I'm teaching them the latter. My first reaction to there is the difference between the two skills. While it may be nuanced or critical to understand the subtle early stages of their careers, you don't want to fall prey to manipulation. It is your best interest too. All right? The word influence is neutral and indicates a person's capacity to have an effect on another person. Simply put, influence is what moves sway a person to desired action. That happens a lot more than what we think in the workplaces. Often in fast food. I'll take Sonic Drive-In, Burger King, McDonald's. People scream at other people to conform to, quote, a cultish idea. They bark orders, make intimidated threats to an employee if they do something and then threaten to send them home and what have you. Kind of using a boss card on an employee to break them down. That's manipulation. Down talking the employee, tell them that they're not good enough is manipulation. You're doubting them. You're tearing them down. Remember, good managers build a great team. A bad manager destroys the organization from inside out. It's influence. How they treat your team members with the same respect, okay? Simply put, influence is what moves or sways someone to desired action. Influence on is either negative or positive. You can influence others for good causes, such as influencing your family's friends to adopt fairness, justice, and honesty by displaying behaviors yourself. What you do yourself has an effect on other people. Similarly, the way your boss gives credit where it's due may influence you to treat other team with the same respect. Notice freedom of choice involved here. When you influence others, they choose to follow you or follow your lead out of respect or admiration. The logic evidence you provide influences a neutral way effort to persuade and bring about change. It doesn't have the element of coercion, not designed to force or obligate others to follow. The word manipulation was first used in 1827 to mean skillful action by hand that involved operating, moving, stirring, guiding, and editing things in your environment. Over time, it comes to mean handling and managing situations skillfully to serve your own goals. Manipulation has many negative connotations, including carrying out devious behaviors designed to exploit and control others. Think of it like a mind control. Using emotional psychological tactics to change or alter someone's perception of behavior is an underhanded, deceptive, or abusive way. Typically, people don't know they're being manipulated because they're done in a way to conceal the manipulator's attention. It's used in the influence of bad cause, personal gain, advantage at the expense of someone else. All influence not need to be manipulation. Employees can be manipulated, put down, coerced. You know. So remember, employees can be manipulated, really. And manipulators use this tactics, casting self-doubt, superficial charm, social comparison, misinformation, minimize your vulnerability of being manipulated. Collect evidence. Trust your instincts. If you're being manipulated, break it off. Look at this. Coercion, scientific reason for regression, self-abasement, responsibility invocation, hardball, pleasure induction, social conspiracy theory. So we're going through, I'm going to put all this here. So here's a manipulation showing 5 and dark personalities. 5-factor model. Neuroticism, openness to experience, consciousness, extroversion, agreeableness, 5-factor model. So, stop manipulation in its tracks. Alright? They get their own way right here. They play mind games, bullying, mind games, gaslighting, peer pressure, damage, relationship distrust, relationship abuse, relational abuse. Look at this. A healthy boundary protects the individual from being manipulated. There's 8 steps to success. Pure connection, mood control, building empathy, stopping manipulation, self-regulation. That is very important, self-regulation. Self-motivation, respecting boundaries, expressing feelings. Number 2 right here, expressing feelings. Trust me, there are people that use your feelings against you. Beware of those. Manipulator, manipulatee. Look at this. Trashy tricks right here or right here. Look at this. Different studies here talk about N511. Age range 9 to 15-year-old with mean age. And here is a test you could take right here. You know, EFA, CFA, zero order correlation, basic descriptives. Look at this. I'm going to put this in the description box, okay? Now, you want to know what is manipulation? Look at this. You got a little 4 cross with strings attached. And somebody's behind their control pulling the strings. You don't know who's pulling it. But they're manipulating you. It can happen with family members. It can be happening with employees. It could happen in relationships. It could happen in a family member gathering. It can happen on the job. Trust me. If you are involved in being manipulated by anyone, be it the DA, the interrogator, detective, law enforcement, judge, girlfriend, boyfriend, if you are being manipulated, get out of that immediately. Because that is not healthy. Until next time, you take care of yourself, you take care of others around you. All right? Peace.